Our reading today from Matthew's Passion narrative mentions a servant of Israel's high priest. He was a particular kind of servant. He did the jobs no one else wanted to, jobs that skirted the law, and it sometimes flat out broke it. This servant was a bagman, a heavy, a sicario. If someone needed silencing, he silenced them. If someone needed to disappear, this man would sneak out at night and grab them up off the streets. He was on a mission like that when we hear of him in our gospel this morning. This servant leads a group of men with swords and clubs to capture Jesus as he's praying in Gethsemane. Jesus' disciples saw him coming and they braced for a fight. One of Jesus' disciples took out a knife, slashed at the man's face, and cut off his ear. Jesus turned his disciples and told them to put down their weapons. Matthew doesn't tell us what comes next, but Luke does in his gospel. Jesus bent down and picked up that servant's ear from the ground and miraculously put it back onto his head. Folks, look at that act and say that it was Jesus' last miracle before he was resurrected. I think Jesus did an additional miracle as well. I think Jesus worked a deeper healing in that servant. Not only did he heal his ear, but he healed his heart. Matthew never tells us the name of this servant. That's not uncommon. Many, if not most, of the minor characters in the Gospels are never given a name. However, a few of them are named. And in John's Gospel, we learn that this servant's name was Malchus. Biblical scholars speculate that when those odd times when a minor character is named, it's because that person was known to the early Christian community. That person probably came forward for baptism and joined the early church. So when they read through John's Gospel and Malchus's name was mentioned, some folks would look across the room and see Malchus sitting right there. Well, I like to think that this is the case with Malchus, that he joined the early church, that Jesus not only healed his ear, but healed his heart. After that encounter with Jesus, Malchus turned away from this life that was patterned on violence and power to get his way. And he embraced the way of life that Jesus modeled, the way of love. Friends, Jesus is still offering to us this kind of healing. Jesus invites us to turn away from centering our lives on our own power, to turn away from actions that exclude and marginalize other people, to turn away from using violence and fear to get what we want. Jesus shows us that there is a better way to live, a way of life that's centered on love, caring for others, embracing the outcast, working for peace in situations of hostility, creating communities where every single person belongs. These are the values that Malchus felt in that encounter with Jesus. And then he reoriented his life around them and linked up with others who had done the same. Well, friends, Jesus is here this morning, inviting us to take this same journey that Malchus took. We might not be a bagman, a Sicario like Malchus, but I look at my life and I know that there are things in it that keep me from loving God and neighbor well. This morning, God is inviting me and you to lay down those things that prevent you from fully embracing the way of love, and to take hold of what Jesus has modeled for us, and to love this world well. Amen.